Hello, I'm Lloyd Bonson, and you join me today at Oulton Park in the wonderful Cheshire countryside for rounds 10, 11 and 12 of the Mazda MX-5 Championship. The cars are going out ready on the grid for race 1A. I hand you over to Richard John Neal to take you through the grid.
Thanks very much, Lloyd. Pole position here goes to James Harris. Remember, the grids are split. This is only half the entry. It's a massive entry here at Oulton Park. James Harris on pole position. Josh Jackson alongside Oliver Allwood and Will Blackwell-Chambers on row 2. Row 3, Paul Tucker and Michael Fisk. Brian Trott and Charlie Burge on row 4. Stuart Simmons and Sam Smith ahead of Clive Powles and Martin Tolley 12. 13th, Stephen Foden from John Langridge, then Patrick Lay and Jack Rawls. Sam Bailey and Ben Hansey on row 9. Paul Maguire and Courtney Milnes, followed by Kevin Brent and Max Norfolk. Matt Pickford and Simon Woods complete the grid for race 1A. The top group from qualifying, top half of the entry from qualifying. James Harris in white and red. Next to him, visually, the white and blue car of Oliver Allwood is actually third on the grid. And then the black car of Josh Jackson, the white and blue with the green bumper of Will Blackwell-Chambers, the championship leader. Away we go, and a good start by James Harris, but Josh Jackson from the outside got away well too. Off the lines, trying to squeeze Harris as they go through into Old Hall corner. Will Blackwell-Chambers, the first of the cars, going a little bit wide at Old Hall. It's always somebody that has to do it better. I'm not sure who that was, but several cars going wide, and that's really to be expected with 24 very closely matched cars all going into the same corner pretty much at the same time. Paul Tucker on the outside of Blackwell-Chambers. And then it's Brian Trott, the Hampshire-based driver, following them. But the race leader, Josh Jackson, held on to the lead. Second place is James Harris. So pretty good start. Very briefly picked up on Sam Smith there in the red 36. Sam second in the championship behind Will Blackwell-Chambers after our round last time out at Silverstone on the national circuit. But it's Josh Jackson who is fourth in the standings. It's Blackwell-Chambers in leading the championship from Sam Smith. Oliver Allwood third. Josh Jackson in fourth place. Martin Tolley in fifth from Paul Tucker. Then Charlie Burge and Brian Trott completing the top 8. We go on board with John Langridge. He's challenging Charlie Burge here in the red car. Burge, the man I mentioned, 7th in the championship, coming down from Hilltop into the Hislop chicane. The door is open, and Charlie Burge left the door open there, and John Langridge goes through on the inside line. Great bit of racing really here, and clean from Charlie Burge. Didn't bang into Langridge. Didn't realise, probably maybe a little bit too late, that the door was open, and the former Fiesta racer goes through. Here's the climb up Clay Hill in towards Druids. The double apex, very tricky right-hander. Go very slightly round to the left. Now we're coming into Druids. Grab the apex at the first part, drift away a little bit, then grab the apex for the second part. Oliver Allwood in third. James Harris at the moment challenging Josh Jackson out front, but Jackson is in P1. That's where he wants to be. Clear traffic in front of him. Will Blackwell-Chambers is in fourth place. The pack chasing and working hard. And I mentioned Martin Tolley was fifth in the standings. It's been very consistent so far. Martin Tolley has been in the A group all of the time, and apart from one race, which was the second race at Cadwell Park, has been in the top 10 for all of those. So very quick, very, very consistent driver. Looking at the back end of Brian Trott's car, and as we were on board with John Langridge climbing up Clay Hill in towards Druids. Meanwhile, the leaders have broken clear a little bit at the moment, so it's Josh Jackson still there. James Harris in second place. Harris won a race. He missed the opening round of the year. James Harris in 37, who looks to the outside line, opened up his account at Cadwell Park with second in race 1. This is very brave indeed by Harris, who tries to keep the momentum going on the outside, runs a little bit wide, and Josh Jackson maintains lead position. Harris perhaps the man with championship, I was going to say championship momentum. He did win a race at Silverstone, but then went off the ball. He won the B race, race 3 at Silverstone. And remember, what happens is if you finish in the bottom 5 or one of the non-finishers, or bottom 5 in the A group, then you get relegated to the B group for the next race, and vice versa. If you're the top 5 of the B group, you come up into the A group for the subsequent race. And that's how the BRSCC, the British Racing and Sports Car Club, cater for such big entries in this formula, which is a magnificent way of dealing with it. The BRSCC, one of the most innovative racing organisations in the UK. That's why they have such big grids in this championship. Harris and Jackson, though, really giving us a good workout at the moment. Well, the battle continues, and now it is Harris up front, but significantly we've got Oliver Allwood closing in third place. Will Blackwell-Chambers, the championship leader, in fourth. So what was effectively earlier on in the race a two-way battle for the lead, very nearly a quartet, and you can see Oliver Allwood trying to close down on the second place car. Would do very well here to work with Will Blackwell-Chambers, and then once they're all up in a big bunch, maybe to sort themselves out. Harris is there at the moment, though. Harris the leader, Josh Jackson. Remember, Harris set pole position time. Josh Jackson made a great start off the front of the grid, and Harris here looking for his second win of the year. When the drop scores kick in, effectively he'll discount the Brands Hatch round where he didn't race, and what it does mean, he's got to finish every race this year to be in with a realistic chance of grabbing the championship. On board again with the Solihull man, Martin Tolley. As we said, been fast and consistent. I was talking about momentum. Maybe Martin Tolley's got the best momentum of all the drivers. Looks up the inside line here on Paul Tucker, Lichfield-based driver. Paul Tucker, like Martin Tolley, and ever present in the A group, the top half of the championship. Remember, you can drop down into the B group by having a non-finish or a bad race. So it's very easily done. So to maintain it, maintain the top group ranking throughout the season is a very difficult thing to do, as Paul Tucker had a very big tank slapper on there and loses out a little bit of ground. Super battle going on here. Stuart Simmons coming under pressure from Sam Smith, second in the championship. Patrick Lay is in the mix as well. Then Clive Powell's in the green 18 car, Brian Trott in 83 immediately behind them. So some super dicing going on right the way down the field through Cascades, and once again along through Lakeside. Sam Smith's going to be losing a little bit of ground here on Will Blackwell-Chambers championship wise. Patrick Lane 175 looks up on the inside line of Clive Powell's into the banked Shell Oils hairpin. Lay and Trott are through. Michael Fisk, who was a star at Brands Hatch, 2 second places and a 9th, is the man in behind the number 8 car. The purple machine there, the man from Milton Keynes. Went off the boil a little bit after Brands Hatch, but seems to be bouncing back as the race leaders head towards us once again, and it is a quartet for the lead. And it is James Harris who's out front. Josh Jackson under pressure from Oliver Allwood. Will Blackwell-Chambers will be mindful of his championship lead here, and you only lose a couple of points per place in this championship, so fourth is not going to be too disastrous for him, but he'll want to get up onto the outright podium if he possibly can. But he's got Ollie Allwood immediately ahead of him, and Oliver, never a very easy man necessarily to pass. We want to make a race of it. Just having a look at Blackwell-Chambers, he poised to make a move. I don't think he is. Harris still under pressure from Joshua Jackson, the top 4 line and stern, as they head through Ireland and up into Shell Oils. They're into Shell Oils corner now. Keep your eyes on Blackwell-Chambers, the championship leader in blue, at the back of the quartet, out of Shell, coming down into Britain's the chicane for the last time. Fascinating race between these 4. It's effectively like a game of chess at 85 miles an hour between these over Hilltop. Harris has soaked up all the pressure so far. Remember, he wasn't the early leader. Jackson led earlier on. Harris got back in front and he's soaked up loads of pressure since then. This is the big pressure lap, of course, being the last lap into Hislops for the last time, and then through Knickerbrook and up Clay Hill. Still Josh Jackson second. Will Blackwell-Chambers busy chasing Oliver Allwood. So still there is Harris. Harris has got the fastest lap of the race. I think that's the second time this year he has done that. Had one in round 8 at Silverstone, and it looks like he's going to hold on, but he's going defensive and keeping tight to that inside line. Blackwell-Chambers here could hold a few cards. Oliver Allwood making the move around the outside. Allwood bravely going for second place, but runs wide. That could allow Blackwell-Chambers, indeed it does, allow Will Blackwell-Chambers into third place, but hats off for Allwood for trying. It's going to be Harris that takes it, Jackson second, Will Blackwell-Chambers in third. Oliver Allwood, faint heart never kissed a pig, did it? That's why he went for it, went for the outside line. challenged for second place but winds up in fourth. But you've got to admire the commitment of Oliver Allwood going for it. That's what racing drivers do. That's what he did, and he winds up in fourth place behind James Harris, Joshua Jackson and Will Blackwell Chambers. Oliver Allwood fourth, Martin Tully next from Patrick Lane, Clive Powell, Sam Smith 8th from Brian Trott, Michael Fisk completing the top 10, then Stuart Simmons and Paul Maguire, Kevin Brent from Paul Tucker and Jack Rawls, Ben Hansey and Stephen Foden, Courtney Milnes next from Simon Woods. Dropping to Group B, Sam Bailey, Max Norfolk, Matt Pickford, Charlie Burge and John Langridge, the latter two not finishing.
Well, a tough race out there, but you managed to come through on the last lap and take third place.
Yeah, pretty happy with that. It was a bit of a fluky overtaking manoeuvre. So, unluckily for Ollie, he went down the outside, which left a lovely big gap on the inside, and so I dived for it, and no, it came off nicely.
But it was very close towards the end as well, closing up into second place. It looked like the front runners were sort of slowing down a bit.
Yeah, the front runners definitely pulled away a lot at the start, and then they started battling together, which backed them into us, which was a nice break because we weren't really sure we were going to catch him. So I think probably I've got the least power out of all the 4 cars out there, which is a little bit disappointing, and it's hurting me a little bit, but we're fairly happy with sort of how we got on with that one.
Well, here we are as the Class 1B cars get ready to go out onto the grid. It's going to be a frantic race as the top 5 cars move up to the A race later on. Richard, talk us through the grid.
Thanks, Lloyd. It is all to play for, isn't it? Patrick Collins starts on pole position with Nick Le Doyen alongside row 2, Richard Collins and Callum Warner. Third row, Simon Orange and Stuart Brettle, and then Oliver Robinson and Anthony Hutchins. Top 10 completed by Graham Colby and Thomas Grindle, Teddy Clark and Guy Carter on row 6. Then it's Alan Hawkins and Clive Chisnell, Paul Hughes with Michael Close, followed by Adrian Burge and Charlie Rawls. Dale Whiteman and Brink Griffiths, row 11, Jonathan Fieldsend and Nick Riley. James Love completes the grid. James, the 32-year-old from Edinburgh, second meeting of the season, finished 9th in Group 1, Race 1 at Silverstone, so he'll be looking to work his way through the field. In this one, it was a relatively long hold off the start line, but Patrick Collins gets away well from pole position. Nick Le Doyen, white with red along the outside, looking to, well, had a look round the outside, slots into second place. Anthony Hutchins goes a little bit wide. He's very nearly sideways across the track, but pulls it all back in. A few other drivers, I think, end up as a reaction to that, off and on the grass, but no big damage, thankfully, as a result. Incredible to think that we have, best part of 24 drivers, and other formulae would probably end up with cars in the barrier. But the driving standards exemplary here. Patrick Collins, the race leader. I think we've got Richard Collins now into second. So, pretty big set of changes. Good to see 55 back with us. That is Graham Colby. Haven't seen him for a while. And around the outside line, Clive Chisnell looking to try and make up ground on that banked hairpin. In behind is Paul Hughes aboard the number 12. Hughes, who started back in 15th place, so we're seeing the pack starting to shuffle around a little bit. They go up into Hilltop for the first time and then down in towards Hislops, and we focus here on Guy Carter. Ollie Robinson in the 19, trying to put Guy under a little bit of pressure. In the 75, Guy looking to try and break into the A group. Very nearly done it. Very nearly did it in race 2 at Brands Hatch, but he was 6th position in the Group B second race there. Collins is away out front. Patrick still leading from Richard. Both of them in the Masters class as well for the older drivers. Callum Warner in 3rd place. Then Nick Le Doyen, followed by Simon Orange. Those guys looking like the ones that are going to make the break up into the A group and hopefully try and make a little bit of progress in race 2. Quick shot of Adrian Burge in the blue number 7, the 49-year-old from Haverhill. Known quite a few decent drivers coming from Haverhill over the years. 67 Simon Orange still really stuck in up towards the sharp end of things. Anthony Hutchins up ahead of Nick Ledoyen. Well, we're on to the last lap now, and Guy Carter ahead of Anthony Hutchins and Graham Colby. These guys 7th, 8th and 9th. I don't think are going to make the cut to make it up into the A group for race 2, but they'll get a second bite of the cherry in the next race, when of course they'll have some of the guys being relegated down from the A group, so they'll have some hard competition either way. These places are very hard fought to get race wins in Group A or indeed Group B. It's a very difficult job indeed to get up there, and you have to keep chipping away. And Graham Colby doing that at the moment, and he is, as I say, he's inside the top 10, but I don't think close enough to the sharp end of things to be able to make a move. Making a move into the chicane, straight lining the chicane, is Stuart Brittle, who's going to lose out a little bit there. That's a shame for him, but here is the race leader Patrick Collins, a couple of seconds ahead of Richard Collins. Patrick has the fastest lap as well. Comes through Lodge Corner, down through Deer Leap, and watch for the checkered flag. It's going to be a Collins 1-2 here at Oulton Park. Hand out of the window to salute the checkered flag. Patrick Collins takes the win and fastest lap. Richard Collins is second. He will join Patrick in Group A for race 2. Simon Orange third from Callum Warner and Oliver Robinson. Those guys going up. Guy Carter next from Anthony Hutchins, Graham Colby. Nick Ledoyen in 9th ahead of Stuart Brittle. Then it was Thomas Grindle from Clive Chisnell, Paul Hughes, Michael Close, Adrian Burge, Alan Hawkins 16th from Charlie Rawls, Nick Riley and Dale Whiteman. Jonathan Fieldsen completing the top 20. James Love, the only other finisher, in 21st place.
Patrick, fantastic race, lights the flag, victory, but it was a tough one.
Yeah, it was. It's so hot out here, and of course when you get to our age, well, my age, it just gets hotter and hotter. But it was a really good race. I think the laps were really consistent, certainly for the front 2 or 3 people. And I mean, it's actually quite a nice. It was quite a nice drive actually. You never know where you're going to go from pole. You never know what's happening on behind you. But it started well and finished well.
Rick, you pushed through, certainly on the first lap, to come through second by the end of the first lap, and you were keeping Patrick honest throughout the whole race.
Yeah, again, all congratulations, Patrick. You know, lights the flag, you can't ask for any more than that, and it was a good race. And like Patrick said, we were slightly disappointed with where we started in the B race, because our quali times were quite well, you know, quite up there really.
James Harris on pole, Josh Jackson alongside, then Will Blackwell Chambers and Oliver Allwood. 5th on the grid, Martin Tolley and Patrick Lay. Clive Powell and Sam Smith are next, followed by Brian Trott and Michael Fisk, Stuart Simmons and Paul Maguire wrapping up row 6. Kevin Brent and Paul Tucker next from Jack Rawls and Ben Hansey, Steve Foden and Courtney Mills, then Simon Woods and Patrick Collins. Richard Collins is next from Simon Orange, Callum Warner and Oliver Robinson. Of course, those 5 we've just seen in race 1B. James Harris, though, will be looking to try and get a double here. The lights are on. And out they go, and away we go here at Oulton Park for race 2A. Cracking start by James Harris, but look at Josh Jackson again from the outside. He really seems to get hooked up on the outside line, Josh Jackson, but this time goes a little bit wide. That could potentially lose him momentum, but he's doing what he wanted to do, and that is stay side by side to maybe grab the inside line into Cascades. He was the outside for Dentons. He's still on the inside line. Will Blackwell Chambers in the mix there. Martin Tolley, Patrick Lane 175. Coming under pressure from a resurgent Sam Smith. This the view from Martin Tolley. Looking ahead, blue skies above us, blue car in front of us with Will Blackwell Chambers coming up into the hairpin. What a super start for our second race. Wonderful on board as well. Nice wide angle, very relaxed posture for the Solihull base racer who maintains his 100% record in Group A, the top half of the table, mostly, as I said, in race number 1, in the top 10 of all his races as well. Will Blackwell Chambers, championship leader, is immediately in front. Good consistent scoring from Will once again, but it's James Harris who leads once again from Josh Jackson, then Oliver Allwood, Will Blackwell Chambers, the top 4 as they were at the end of race number 1, and this, you know, in effect, a continuation of that race. That's how things work in these triple header meetings. Not only do we have an entry that has to be split, but we have a triple header once again. On to the last lap, and James Harris, 1.5 seconds clear of Josh Jackson. Third is Ollie Allwood, but we've got a big scrap on for 4th place. Patrick Lay challenging hard, and he's trying to wrest the 4th position from Will Blackwell-Chambers. Lay goes onto the outside line, which he's trying to hang on to as they go down into Cascades for the last time. We're back with James Harris, the Leamington Spa-based racer, who's looking to make it 2 out of 2 wins here at Oulton Park, very clearly in tune with his 2.69 miles Oulton Park International Circuit. Josh Jackson, he's going to be on for 2nd again. Looks like the podium is secure with Ollie Allwood in 3rd place, and now up into 4th goes Patrick Lay, winner of the B race, race 1 in Group B at Silverstone, of course. And very much on fine fettle this weekend, but Will Blackwell-Chambers will try and take the battle to him and get that 4th position back. Martin Tolley, incidentally, is 6th. Sam Smith in 7th ahead of Brian Trott, with Clive Powell and Michael Fisk wrapping up the top 10 at the minute. But James Harris, what a drive we've had from him from pole position. His thoughts will start to turn, but not until the checkered flag's gone out, mind, to a hat-trick of wins here at Oulton. We haven't seen a hat-trick since Brands Hatch, when Will Blackwell-Chambers took all 3 races out of Druids and up towards Lodge Corner for the last time. Harris has got the fastest lap of the race as well 2 laps ago, lap 8, a 2 minute 6.9, 76 miles an hour through Deer Leap. The checkered flag will await the 37 car. Keep your eyes peeled for the checker. The wave we get first though. Harris wins race 2A, Josh Jackson 2nd, Oliver Allwood is 3rd, Patrick Lay holds on ahead of Will Blackwell-Chambers to take 4th position. Martin Tolley is the top master in race 2. He finishes in 6th position. Then Sam Smith and Brian Trott. Clive Powell's 9th. 10th place Michael Fisk. Paul Maguire 11th from Stuart Simmons. Patrick Collins 3rd in the Masters, 13th overall. Then Kevin Brent, Richard Collins and Paul Tucker. Ben Hansey ahead of Simon Woods, Stephen Foden. Courtney Milnes drops to Group B for race 3 with Jack Rawls, Ollie Robinson, Callum Warner and also Simon Orange.
Well, James, 2 from 2. That's not a bad result so far for the day.
Yeah, very pleased with the way the day's going so far. 2 wins.
Can you make it 3 out of 3 later?
Judging by the way this last one went, I think there's a good chance, yes.
It's been a tough race, though, and we can see from how hot you are, how difficult it is driving out there today.
Yeah, it's very tough out there, and I suspect in the last race Josh is going to try and make it harder for me as well, so I think it's going to be a tough last one.
Well, we look forward to seeing you out there. Congratulations once again.
Thank you very much.
Well, you join me in the holding area for the 2B race. John Langridge in 5th position after his differential problem in race 1. But it's going to be Sam Bailey in pole position that's going to be looking to go forward into the 3A. And we're going to try and have a quick word with Sam now as he gets ready to go out. Sam, pole position now for 2B. Looking forward, hopefully, to push forward and get into the 3A.
Yeah, absolutely, that's the goal. I was doing reasonably well in the first day race until a lack of confidence caused a spin on turn 1, so put me back to 23rd, so I'm hoping I can stay where I am if I can and get into the A race.
Good luck, hope to speak to you later on. Richard, John Neal, it's over to you to take us through the rest of the grid.
Thanks, Lloyd. Sam Bailey on pole position with Max Norfolk, then Matt Pickford and Charlie Burge on row 2. Row 3, John Langridge and Guy Carter, Anthony Hutchins and Graham Colby row 4, followed by Nick Ledoyan and Stuart Brittle, Thomas Grindle and Clive Chisnell next from Paul Hughes and Michael Close, row 8, Adrian Burge and Alan Hawkins. 9th row, Charlie Rawls and Nick Riley, Dale Whiteman on row 10 with Jonathan Fields End, James Love, Teddy Clark and Bryn Griffiths completing the grid for the second Group B race. The red car with the stripes left of shot is Sam Bailey. Max Norfolk in yellow. To the right of that, the red and white car of Charlie Burge. And in the middle of Bailey and Norfolk, Matt Pickford, who is a little bit slow away. Matt Pickford being gobbled up by John Langridge in white on the inside line. Guy Carter in blue goes through as well. Past the outside line of Matt Pickford as well went Graham Colby in green. Side by side, Guy Carter with John Langridge. John looking to make it back up into Group A. He's in fourth place at the moment. This is Cascades coming on to Lakeside. Ideal weather here. Blue skies. What a wonderful picturesque track this is with the lake. It's well worth a track walk or a walk on if you're coming up to watch it as many different places as you can here at Oulton Park. It's a super day out. Thomas Grindle in 70 chasing hard up into the Shell Oils hairpin once again. So Grindle ahead of Paul Hughes, the man from Chester. It's not too far to travel for him. And up ahead of Grindle is Michael Close. Michael looking to try and get into Group A for the fourth time this year. He's a little bit away from the cut at the moment. It's Sam Bailey who still leads from Charlie Burge. Burge about to effect a pass where he was passed by John Langridge in race number one. Langridge in turn is chasing the yellow car of Max Norfolk down into Hislops, and then they run into the right-hander at Knickerbrook. Here is Langridge. We're on board with him coming up Clay Hill. So go under the footbridge and then into the right-hander at Druids. The battle for the lead very much on though, and it's still Charlie Burge from fourth on the grid. Burge made a very good start and he's harrying Sam Bailey, the race leader at the moment. Has a look down the inside line. It's a challenge for the lead, but 107 Sam Bailey still holds sway. Charlie Burge in second place as they go through Deer Leap. Good race for the lead on here. They're pulling away from the rest of the field and the challenge still on, but it's Bailey still there. Up into third place now has come John Langridge. Then we've got Max Norfolk in fourth position. Nick Ledoyen is next up. On to the last lap we go, and it is now Charlie Burge in front. So Sam Bailey throwing everything that he can at Charlie Burge, including a couple of moments off circuit, which has attracted a penalty for track limits. So the 107 car is in second place, and in fact will remain in second place with the time penalty, because first and second are over, well, they're very nearly 15 seconds clear of John Langridge in third. So although Sam Bailey's got a penalty, if he goes past Charlie Burge, he won't get the win anyway. I guess he'll back end out, really trying hard to close down, because of course in front of the fans today he'll want to take the checker ahead of Charlie Burge, but Burge is out front. Sam Bailey's got the fastest lap. It was on the anti-penultimate lap, lap 8, 75.78 miles per hour, but Charlie Burge looking pretty good here. The man from Haverhill has been an ever-present in Group A. Looks like he's going to return to Group A. Best result of the season for Charlie, who's learning his craft in the BRSCC MX-5 Championship. Second place in race 3 at Silverstone. And this is going to be his first win, albeit in Group B. He'll take that. This is all part of the learning experience. And it's a great thing that the BRSCC have done, because drivers can gain confidence from their first wins. It doesn't matter whether it's a Group B win. Here we go, across the line. Superb win. Charlie Burge takes it. Sam Bailey is in second. John Langridge is going to take third. Max Norfolk in fourth place. Nick Ledoyen, I beg your pardon, Matt Pickford in fifth position. Nick Ledoyen doesn't quite make the cut for the Group A race 3. Graham Colby next from Guy Carter and Anthony Hutchins. Clive Chisnell in 10th. Sam Bailey holds on to the fastest lap, by the way. Charlie Rawls next from Alan Hawkins and Stuart Brittle. Then Thomas Grindle. Adrian Burge 15th from Paul Hughes, Michael Close, Nick Riley, Bryn Griffiths, Jonathan Fieldsend, James Love, Dale Whiteman and Teddy Clark. Everybody that started that race finished, so well done to all concerned.
Charlie, that was a tough race. Second at the end of first lap, and then eventually went through to take the lead. Really, really tough out there, though.
Yeah, it's extremely hot out there. You don't get a break at all. And I managed to get a good start, and then just followed Sam for a couple of laps, and then managed to get the run on him down the straight, and just slipped down the side. But yeah, he kept me honest all race. It was very, very close. I did notice the 5-second penalty come out, which is unfortunate for him, but he kept me honest the entire way through, so I kind of just, after that, eased off a little bit and managed the gap as much as I could.
So here we are in the holding area for the final B race. Courtney Milnes on pole position. Courtney, it's going to be hot out there.
Oh, I know, yeah, it's been ridiculous today. It's just no grip whatsoever on the track. Just trying my best.
Well, we wish you all the best out there, and we look forward to speaking to you afterwards. There we go, hand you over to Richard to take you through the rest of the grid.
Cheers, Lloyd. Courtney on pole. Jack Rawls is alongside, then Ollie Robinson and Callum Warner. Simon Orange on row 3 from Nick Ledoyen, Graham Colby and Graham Carter on row 4. Fifth row, Anthony Hutchins and Clive Chisnell. Charlie Rawls on row 6 with Alan Hawkins, Stuart Brittle and Thomas Grindle, followed by Adrian Burge and Paul Hughes. Then it's Michael Close and Nick Riley, Bryn Griffiths and Jonathan Fields in row 10. Row 11, James Love and Dale Whiteman. Teddy Clark completes the grid in car number 10, the man from Colchester. Ever present this year, Teddy. Still looking to try and climb further up the order. The lights are on. Courtney Milnes in white, Jack Rawls in the black car with the blue stripes, and Rawls there slots straight into second place. Callum Warner looking around the outside line. Nick Ledoyen is there as well in the number 60. Guy Carter on the outside of Oliver Robinson, but a good measured start, very good start from the Widnes-based lady racer Courtney Milnes, who has a good clear lead at the moment. Jack Rawls is in second place in 261. The young man from Oulton in Hampshire, of course local track Thruxton. We don't race at Thruxton, although of course Jack has in the Janetta Junior Championship. It's great to see him in the Mazdas along with his elder brother, who's there in the 26 car, Charlie Rawls. And the Rawls family, a very, very nice family as well. Great to have them in the Mazda paddock, but it's Courtney Milnes out front from Jack Rawls. Guy Carter busy doing some harrying at the moment, the man from Stockport, so another, pretty much a home game really, you have to say, for Guy Carter, with Charlie Rawls in hot pursuit as well. And Courtney Milnes comes down from Hilltop with Jack Rawls right behind. Is Jack going to have maybe make a move down into the chicane? Maybe a little bit too far back to do anything at the moment, as we pick up on the 60 car, Nick Ledoyen from Edgbaston. Nick, who's been up in Group A a couple of times, and Charlie Rawls goes through, passes Courtney Milnes to take the lead. So Jack Rawls is through into the race lead. This is only Rawls' first full meeting in Mazdas, had a retirement in the race 1 at Silverstone, so he's really sort of finding his feet in the formula here. First time he's raced it. You might remember him racing in the Janetta Junior Championship. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, Oliver Robinson up ahead of Callum Warner, who's on the inside line and being defensive at the moment as well. This is some fine racing happening here. Courtney Milnes has picked up a penalty for track limits, but it's going to be Jack Rawls, I think, that's going to take the win. Still looking at 34 and 80. 34 Callum Warner, the 80 car of Anthony Hutchins giving chase as well for 5th and 6th positions. Oliver Robinson is up ahead in 4th at the moment, but coming under big pressure here. You can see the different lines on the hairpin there. As I mentioned, it is banked, and Callum Warner looking for 4th place. Couldn't quite get the momentum to make it around the outside, but he's still putting pressure on Oliver Robinson. It is Jack Rawls, incidentally, still out front. So here is Jack Rawls coming under pressure now from Simon Orange. So Orange very close indeed. Courtney Milnes, though's got the fastest lap. Anti-penultimate lap again. So it's 2 races on the bounce. These cars clearly coming on song towards the end of the race. Milnes has got fastest lap. Rawls might have the opportunity to take that away from him, but at the moment Courtney's got it. But Rawls is too busy looking in his mirrors at Simon Orange, who is threatening, and very close indeed. It's going to be very close on the run down towards the flag. But Jack Rawls, in his first full meeting of BRSCC Mazda Racing, takes a win in race 3B. Simon Orange second. Courtney Milnes will finish in third place ahead of Oliver Robinson. Callum Warner is fifth from Anthony Hutchins, Nick Ledoyen, Charlie Rawls in 8th. Then Thomas Grindle, Paul Hughes in 10th from Michael Close in 11th. Adrian Burge 12th from Graham Colby and Guy Carter. Then Alan Hawkins 15th from Teddy Clark. Bryn Griffiths, Jonathan Fieldsend, Dale Whiteman and James Love. Non-finishes, sadly, Stuart Brittle and Clive Chisnell.
Will you join us in the holding area for the final A race of this afternoon at Oulton Park? James Harris on pole position, trying to make it 3 out of 3, but he's got Josh and Ollie right behind him. More importantly though, is this guy, Martin. Podium at Silverstone and fastest of the Masters so far this weekend. What can you do out there? Can you shake it up with the guys in front?
I'm hoping so. I think the big issue this weekend is the new tyres have come into play, and we haven't been able to set the car up with the new tyres, so we're battling on the old tyres against all the cars in front with new ones on, but we'll see what we can do, try and bring a bit of silverware home.
Fantastic. Well, wish you all the best of luck. Thanks a lot. Richard, it's over to you to take us through the grid.
Thanks again, Lloyd. Martin 6th on the grid behind James Harris, who starts on pole. Josh Jackson alongside, then Ollie Allwood and Patrick Lay. Will Blackwell-Chambers on row 3 with Martin Tolley, Sam Smith and Brian Trott on row 4. Clive Powell and Michael Fisk from Paul Maguire and Stuart Simmons. Then it's Patrick Collins and Kevin Brent, Richard Collins and Paul Tucker on row 8. Row 9, Ben Hansey and Simon Wood, Stephen Foden and Charlie Burge from Sam Bailey and John Langridge, Max Norfolk and Matt Pickford. Complete the runners who of course move up from the second Group B race. The lights are on. James Harris looking to make it a hat-trick if he can. Patrick Lay starts well in the red, white and green car. Josh Jackson, for my money, not as quick. Well, I was going to say he wasn't as quick as race 1s and 2, but he seems to get through the gears very quickly indeed, Jackson. Patrick Lay on the outside. Look at the back end on Lay's car coming round. There's a cloud of dust with 3 or 4 runners going off on the grass and onto the dirt, but I think they all survive. It's James Harris trying to come through. Josh Jackson in the mix as well. Oliver Allwood up ahead of Patrick Lay. Patrick Lay scored very well. Will Blackwell-Chambers there, still side by side with Martin Tolley. Superstar Clive Powell is in the mix as well. Wow, what a start to our final race of the weekend, and a spin for car number 20, Paul Maguire. So Paul's going to find himself right the way down towards the back of the field in this one. Hopefully we'll recover. There is Clive Powell in 18, up ahead of Brian Trott. So through Britain's up and over Hilltop. And it is James Harris that's consolidated the lead. Harris the leader, Jackson second, Oliver Allwood third from Patrick Lay. Will Blackwell-Chambers has a dive down the inside though. Blackwell-Chambers has scored consistently this weekend. I reckon he'll hold on to the championship lead if he finishes here or hereabouts. We'll need to do our sums after the race. It's incredibly close, incredible amount of points scored. James Harris, for his part, having missed Brands, should make it up into the top 10 of the championship. Again, if he stays up towards the front, but we'll check the points for you at the end of this race. We still remain on board with championship leader Will Blackwell-Chambers, the man from Basingstoke, who won the opening 4 races of the year. Very nearly took all 6. Looks up the inside line of Patrick Lay. That was a textbook move into Lodge Corner. Brilliant stuff from Blackwell-Chambers. Wants to crack on now and close down on the lead trio with Patrick Lay. Work together, work with me. Let's try and catch up the race leaders. So it's Harris, Allwood, Jackson, Blackwell-Chambers, Lay is next, followed by Martin Tolley, who's the lead master, leads the Masters Championship as well, does Martin Tolley. And it's interesting to keep an eye on a separate competition for the older drivers. Sometimes it's you kind of think, well, why have a separate one for the older drivers? But we've got so many young guns coming in. That's probably a fair thing to do. But of course, there are older drivers more than capable of taking race wins. And as you heard Lloyd say, it was a podium at Silverstone for Martin Tolley. Took a fine second position, and there he is in the 23, up ahead of Clive Powers, immediately followed by Brian Trott in the 83, all line astern at the moment. So to be fair, probably not on a part of the circuit where you're going to get a move on or an overtake, although it is possible coming down from Hilltop into Hislots. Here's the view back from Martin Tolley, and Clive Powers is having a look at the inside line, can't quite do it. Marvellous shot. And you can see the varying track configurations here at Oulton Park as well. We've got the Foster circuit, which is the shorter track. You've got the Island circuit, which is the second longest one, and then the full international 2.6 miles, which we're racing on today. Great view of the climb up Clay Hill and coming in towards Druids. Patrick Lay, a couple of lengths now behind Will Blackwell Chambers. Will still in fourth place. Race still led by James Harris. Blackwell Chambers, though, banging in some good laps and showing some decent pace. He reckoned earlier on when he spoke to Lloyd that he was a little bit down on power. So I'm guessing he's not going to be too unhappy with maintaining the championship lead here in the 43 car, bagging a podium in race number 1, 5th position in race number 2. He was in Group B, of course, at Silverstone for race 3, where he took up a podium there. So he's been on a little bit of a downward trend after the first 2 meetings. He was only denied 6 outright wins by that second race at Silverstone, which Sam Smith won. I beg your pardon, Cadwell Park, which Sam Smith won, as we go on board with Martin Tolley. Super view of us coming through Cascades along Lakeside. Can't see the lake here. What we can see, though, is Tolley running a little bit wide, goes off on the grass, brings it back on track, all neat and tidy. Mistakes are great, of course, as long as you recover from them well, and Tolley did a very good job there. Tolley under pressure, as you can see. He's the lead car there just ahead of the green machine. Runs maybe a tad wide coming into the hairpin, but you can afford to do that there because it is banked. You can gain a little bit more momentum. Looking to come up is Sam Smith, second in the championship here. Sam has had a relatively quiet meeting, 8th place and 7th place, but James Harris, well, he was quietly confident, and I thought sounded rather modest about, you know, the possibility of taking this 3rd win when he spoke to Lloyd after race 2. But he's away, he's got it. He hasn't got fastest lap. That was with Will Blackwell Chambers on the penultimate lap this time. So Blackwell Chambers fastest lap, but James Harris is doing ultimately what counts, which is the race win, although Blackwell Chambers will pick up points for fastest lap if he maintains that. So Harris on his own out front, looking to do what Will Blackwell Chambers did in rounds 1, 2 and 3 at Brands Hatch. This is round 12. Round 13, incidentally, is Snetterton. I do hope you'll be able to join us for that, either at the track or with us on our coverage here. But look at the 3-way fight going on for second place. Oliver Allwood in behind, leading that at the moment. The white and blue car, Josh Jackson immediately behind him, but we're focusing on the race leader, James Harris, who is still there. Oliver Allwood is, I reckon, here going to make it up to second place in the championship. But here we come down the hill. It is James Harris who is still there. Allwood, Jackson, Blackwell Chambers, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Patrick Lay has lost touch with this group. He is still in 5th place, but it's Harris who's going to make it a hat-trick. We go on board with Kevin Brent in the 41 car, running a little bit further back at the moment. So Brent working hard to try and close down on the group in front. So here we come. This is the run down from Hilltop into Hislops now. Turns in. Are we going to see any drama here? Looks like all is okay at the moment with the 41 car. We did incidentally earlier on in the race lose Sam Smith. So Smith is going to take a dent in his championship standings, but at the sharp end of things, it's 3 out of 3 for James Harris. 2nd place goes to Oliver Allwood. 3rd is Josh Jackson from Will Blackwell Chambers. Patrick Lay will take 5th place, but what a meeting for James Harris. He came, he saw, and proverbially of course, and literally conquered here at Oulton Park. 3 out of 3, Allwood 2nd, Jackson 3rd, Blackwell Chambers 4th, Patrick Lay 5th from Stuart Simmons and Brian Trott, Martin Tolley, Charlie Burge in 9th place. Good drive through from him. Patrick Collins in 10th, then Michael Fisk and John Langridge. Richard Collins from Sam Bailey, Simon Woods, Kevin Brent next, then Clive Powell, Stephen Foden, Paul Maguire and Paul Tucker in 20th, 21st Ben Hansey, then Matt Pitford and Max Norfolk. The only non-finisher, sadly, Sam Smith. Championship standings leaving Oulton Park, heading to Snetterton, look like this. It's still Will Blackwell Chambers on top, Oliver Allwood now into 2nd from Sam Smith, Josh Jackson next, then Martin Tolley, lead master, Patrick Lay next from Stuart Simmons, James Harris into the top 10, then Charlie Burge and Paul Tucker in 10th.
3 races, 3 wins. It doesn't get any better than that, surely.
No, yeah, delighted with this weekend. Really fast. Yeah, had the pace all weekend, and the 3 wins starting from pole is brilliant.
Looking forward, this is obviously very good for the championship, and looking forward to the next round. What can you do?
Well, unfortunately, I'm only doing part of the championship, so the next 3 rounds I'm not racing.
Typical, but certainly would have been good momentum had you have been.
Yeah, if I'd been doing the championship, yeah, my pace at Silverstone and at here really showed I'd had a really good chance at it.
Maybe something to think about for next season.
Possibly. I've got a little baby around at the moment that's restricting what I'm doing.
Always well. Well, congratulations. We look forward to seeing you next time you're out on the track.
Thank you very much.
Ollie, another podium. It's been a tough race though, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's just a shame it wasn't top step really. We didn't have enough pace this weekend. I'm really happy with 2nd place. AB Motorsport did a really good job, and my dad made a few tweaks for that final race. I don't know if it made the difference, but it was enough to tag us onto the back of Josh and take advantage of him when he was just making a couple of mistakes. So we got a little bit lucky, but you know, you've got to ride your luck. So yeah, really pleased. Good weekend.
2 podiums out of the 3 races, some good point scores. Are you now starting to think more about the championship?
Yes and no. I mean, you know, there's me, Will and Sam, we're all scoring good consistent points. Will's got that little bit of a gap, but we need to take more points out of him on a weekend than we did this weekend, unfortunately. And more importantly, we need to actually win a race. That's the bit that's actually missing here. So it doesn't matter how many points we take out of him, we need to win races. So.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, we'll have a go.
Congratulations once again. We'll see you next time out.
Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. There we go. That's the action wrapped up for Oulton Park. We'll see you next time.